Hey, I'm Al from Read Art, and today I'm going to be painting for you an idea I came up with last night. It's a picture of a cuddle dog in a Ned Kelly helmet. Never done this before, I just quickly drew it up and now I'm going to have a go at painting it. I hope you enjoy it. Now, what I'm going to do is start with, I'm just going to put a light wash in, excuse me, sorry about that. I'm going to put a light wash in of the colours I'm thinking that it's going to be for the dog. I'm not going to focus on the helmet yet. Now I've already drawn the stencil on, and I'm going to, if it's successful, I'll put this stencil on our website, www.readart.com, and you can download the stencils from there, plus many of the other stencils. So what I'm doing, I'm just mixing up some grey for just so I work out what areas the dog's going to be, what colouring. Now I've mixed up a light grey. I don't want to start dark at all. I want to keep it pretty light at the moment. And I'm going to water it down. It's sort of like a wash. Now I'm painting on paper. I'm using a small size 6 round brush for this. Now I'm thinking... So what? Oops, I've already stuffed up because that's the helmet. Now, when mixing paints to get the light colours, always start with just using a blob of white and then add a pinch of the colour to it. Never do it the opposite way, never start with the dark colours. Otherwise you'll end up using a hell of a lot more white than you need to. Now that's going to be helmet, I think. I'm going to go a bit darker. That's a slit of the helmet. Just put his nose in. Now, I could go a lot of detail in this picture, but I'm going to try and keep it to a minimal because it's all, these pictures are all about you guys being able to paint the designs. I use a wet rag to wipe my brush on. You have to continually wash the paint out of your brush, wipe it to get the contaminants out of it. Start with a fresh brush all the time. Now his mouth's going to run down like that. I think I will continue his hair all the way down. I'll come back to that. I want to just get this part painted in, so if I can get it started on a spot, I can then branch out and work out from it. So I'm going to start. We'll go with the light colours first. I'm going to start on his cheek. Now, brushing strokes in the direction that the fur will be going. Then using the back of your brush to get that fine whisky feel about it. And at the moment I'm just testing my collars, testing how it works. I've got black, white, flesh or a thorn collar and a red ochre. They're the only colours that I want to use in this. Running out to thorn. I'm just going to get a bit of whites in there just to make it pop a bit more. A good painting will have range from the lightest of shades, which is white, to the dark, which is black. Under his snout. I'll do the other side now. I might have to do some touch up on the whiskers after I've done the helmet, because the whiskers may go over, yeah, they'll be in front of the helmet, so they'll go over the helmet. I'm going to go with a smaller brush, the size 2 I think it is. Put some white on top of it. Scratch it. And with the fur, you've got to work with 2 things: the way the dog's fur will form on its face, and gravity. If the longer the hair is, the more it's going to fall. Now they go into the greys. I haven't started with the background because I'm not sure what I'm actually going to do with the background yet. I might even just leave it white. So there's his snout. I've got to work his top lip up into that hair. So I know the top of his lip's black. We'll work it back into a grey. And then I'll drag some hair that's hanging over the lip with some white on the back of the brush. Excuse me. Just a pinch of white on the back of your brush. Scratch it in. Get that spot under his nose black. And get a bit more brown. Alright, so there's his cheek. You might need to go a bit higher with that left side. So yeah, let's do his lower jaw. Oops. So we're going to go with grey. In this area here. But I'll blend that down from a black down to that grey. So I get a pinch of black on the brush. When you use black, never use too much black. And just clean your brush off, and where the two colours meet, the black and the grey, blend it gently. Then we're going to do the fur. Actually, before I do his cheek, his chin, because it's in front of his neck, I'll get his neck done first. Go to a bigger brush, mix a fresh batch of the light colour. And I just made that mistake I told you not to do before. I mixed the colour, then added the white. And now I've had to waste too much white. So I put a base coat in there first of this. Down about there. Alright. That colour's actually going to go to the side there. And also continue up to the side of his head. Right, so now I'm going to add the colouring into it, the hair. I'm going to let this dry off a bit and do the bit beneath that, which is the grey. Go for a bigger brush now. Some water just to help that paint spread. It's just a base coat. Then we're going to get those collars into it. So I'm just looking to create the chest coat of hair. Scratch all that paint in. So I'm basically breaking up the blobs of paint with the scratches in the direction that the hair's going. Now I'll just work that a bit more. Oh, excuse me. That's where the shadowing in the hair will be from the hair that's going to be on top of it. I'm just giving a bit of shape into the hairs now. They're pushing off his shoulders, his chest, collarbone, I guess. So now I'm not going to get too fussy with I'll do a little bit on the left here, just to... Right, just going to give it a bit of a wash at the bottom, just trying to break up those rough edges so they sort of fade into the little bit of water, a bit of white paint. Just trying to get the edges to fade away into the page. Just soften up the bottom of that image. I might let it dry out a bit, then come back and do some more of that. Let's put some more on this side. Just in that way, I'm just fading it out, and I'll do a bit more later probably, just to take the focus of the viewer away from that bottom section, more towards the image itself. Now, back to his neck. And I want to get some whites in here to pump it over the top of his chest. Now, if you're anything like me, and you probably are, it'll be at this stage you're going, oh, I'm not too confident on the results of this. That's normal. Just keep pumping through it and be happy. However it turns out, it doesn't really matter. Like at the moment I'm thinking, oh, I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Maybe that feeling of maybe I should just stop. Don't, keep going. No picture is perfect. And the good thing about art is that originality of what you've created, no matter how unrealistic, how many mistakes that you see in it there are, That is art. That's what the art's all about. Just getting some shadowing in under that bit. Just get a pinch of brown into that. What I'm doing here is I'm getting some different darker colours under his chin, under here, to make his chin pop out when I paint it. Hopefully. Oh, so we go to his chin now. In fact, I think I have. His chin's up here. I made it too big. Just putting a little bit of red into that because it's just looking too black, too much black. Take that bit off, it's going to be white. Oh, there we go. So now we'll do the chin. I could probably come along later, put a bit more white into the bottom here, just to make it pop a bit. I think if I do, I'll wait till it dries off a bit. And then we'll go to that chin. And a smaller brush. I want to get some greys into that bottom section, just that. Excuse me again. Just getting a bit of hair on his chin. You've got to follow the hair around, have a look at an image of the dog and see where the hair flows. Because you can't just really put the hair going in directions that aren't really consistent of what the dog's hair would look like. So you've got to get that bottom lip done. Reflection of light on the lip. Bit of pink in there to show that the inside of his lip. Just want a little bit of a blend. Black is an awkward, I'll call it a colour. Black is an awkward colour to paint with. You have to use it a minimal amount, otherwise it takes over everything. If you can avoid black, avoid it. I've lost that pink, I'll have to put some more pink back in there. Not pink, flesh tone. I could keep going and going and going. I don't want to get too much detail into this. I'm going to work on his nose now before I get back to this bit, because I just don't want to put my hand in that paint spot if it's wet. So I'm just making it wet again. Go to a smaller brush to start putting the detail in. Bit of a challenge, this nose, I think. Now I'm using a reference image here of dogs to help me along. I'm not that skilled that I can just pop everything out of my head. It's the first, or one of the first dogs I've ever painted. Just trying to get those nostrils in, blend them in a bit. I want to blend it so it's showing just that reflection of light popping off. And if there's any really highlights I need to put in, I'll put them in after. At the moment I'm just getting that shape with the light hitting the nose where it's going to be going. Across the brow of his nose here there'll be some light. Just using some water to blend that in. Put some of that light down. I'm just trying to get the bottom of that nose to fade off into the hair. I think I've got to come higher with that brow. Alright, now go to the blacks. There's definite black in his nostril. Not the greatest nose, I have to admit. I'm actually going to lower the top of that snout. I think it's too high. Oh no, that was going to remain white. That'll do for his nose. Now, so I've got to just tidy up, get some streaks into this part here. It's going to duck under his steel mask. Just get a bit of tidying up here. Now around the eyes. So the top lid's black, and I'll do both eyes at the same time. Black. We'll do his brown. So his eyes are a white, red oxide with some white mixed into it. I do love painting eyes. Very satisfying painting eyes. And in the center, is black. Black. Oh, there's an outline. Of black. Now this is where you can make and break. I'm not going to do the whites of his eyes yet, but I'm going to use, I'll use the tip of the small brush. I'm just going to get some scratches coming out. I don't want that black to spread too much. I don't want to lose the circle. And put the bottom of his eye, which is black. It's going to come down a bit further. Once again, I'm not worried about the whites yet. Because I don't want to get black paint into the white. I'll come back to those bits in a minute. At the moment, I'll start working out his brow. So this is, his eyes are looking through the slit of the helmet. So I don't have to go too far. The hair's going to come down on that. And when I stop talking, it means I'm concentrating, trying to get this part right. Let's go the other eye at the moment, just to... Very dark on this side. There's a lot of shadow areas. Bit of white in there, just to break up that black. Yeah, this center section. Short hair. Oh, now we'll do the whites of the eyes. Get all the paint off my brush. That side's got to be more black. No, paint's not dry. Oh no, I keep putting my hand in that black paint. So we are going to paint the background. I'm going to come back to those eyes. I want the paint to dry off, so I'm going to do the ears now. The outer edge of the ear is black. And it's going to work its way down to a red ochre and fawn colour with some white in it. Notice I'm always wiping on my rag, always getting the paint off my rag just to make it easier to blend. And I want to blend the two different paints that are on the canvas or on the paper, and I don't want to use paint on the brush to do extra, otherwise I'll just be adding to it instead of blending it. Sort of black at the bottom there. Okay, those eyes still aren't ready to finish. I'm not overly happy with them, but it is what it is. You can't get everything perfect, you just got to move on sometimes. So I'm going to put in the helmet, then come back to the eyes. That way, once I've got that helmet in, I'll get a sense of how it's going to look. So I'm just going to put a base coat in. I'll do a medium-sized flat brush to get that area filled. Not bad, don't mind it. Now that I've seen how it's looking. Oh. Yeah, it's okay. I'll work that out. I'm making it up as I go along. Now, go back to that area inside. What I'm doing is I'm putting some black areas in. And just to giving it that shadowy feel that it's getting darker in there. We'll do the whites now. Now just put random whites in the eyes. Give it a nice white centre. Right, now I'll work on the helmet. It's going to be dark on this side. And I'm using vertical strokes. Just putting nice vertical strokes in just to try and get some metal looking effect, some dashes of where there's been bashed with a hammer. Adding some water to that grey just so it's workable. So I'm just going to use greys in the helmet. I've already got enough brown. I could have put some brown rusty colour into the helmet, but I'm thinking it doesn't need it. I want people to look at the dog more so. Ooh. As it dries out a bit, I might just soften it with a brush, just running a brush over the top of it, a dry brush. do need some whites on that just to make it pop where the light's hitting it. So now we're going to go to the bottom part of the helmet. Get some black in that bottom part, just to make it stand out a bit more. softening up those scratches. They're looking like hair. Alright, getting close to finishing the helmet. I'll just do the touch-ups. Need a bit of white in there to make it pop a bit more. Yeah, just going to put some nuts because Ned Kelly had some bolts that would stuck out the bottom that held these helmet together. Keep getting the black paint everywhere. tidy up into the eyes. Got to give black shadow in here. Definitely needs the darker inside there. Right, now we're going to just do the outside. I'm going to call that done. I could keep going and going and going, but at the moment I'm just blotching out those black bits of paint that I've put in there. I'm not just going to paint it white, I'm going to give it a bit of a texture, blurred texture. A bit of grey splashed into it. And just gone with a blurry effect around the fur at the bottom. There we go, the Kelly dog. I'm going to call that done.
If you found this video entertaining, helpful or inspiring, we'd love for you to consider subscribing to our channel and hitting that notification bell. Subscribing will ensure that you never miss out on any of our future content that we create, especially for you.